Same
More
thing.
in the more section. If you hit more, the three
Sorry
dots at the
about that.
top,
I just started recording and I disconnected.
as long as Peter and Rami, you guys are good, you're fine if your voices are recorded or if you put your screen on.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Should be recording now.
It is. Thank you.
So
Awesome.
let's begin. So Rose, why did you become a mentor?
So I became a mentor because I felt like I had a lot to give back. My mom has always been one of my largest supporters and has really kind of facilitated that mentorship from her side because we're in very similar domains and work. And I felt like I just had so much to give back, as well as the fact that I struggled when I first started in co-op. And I had a lot of difficulty navigating everything. And so I felt like it was, something good that I could do to give back to the community. So yeah. So Bianca, why did you join the mentorship program?
Well, funny story is before I was a marketing student, I was a mechanical engineer student in co-op as well. And I remember getting the email about the mentorship, but didn't think too much about it. And after, let's say, a week, I decided to apply. But then unfortunately, I didn't get a match. And then once I changed program and I got that email again about signing up for mentorship to be a mentee, I signed up right away. And the main reason why is because I just know it's an opportunity to gain knowledge for someone else. And like you said, um, you already been through this journey, and I just want to have your knowledge. And also you can answer my concerns and just feel more reassured knowing that someone can help me. And yeah, and I don't regret this decision. um what is your method of being a great mentor?
My method of being a great mentor. So I have had 6 mentees, and Bianca was one of my last 2. And so I had already had a little bit of experience mentoring. This coffee chat was actually originally going to be with my first mentee, Tyler. And I have to say the mentorship experience was completely different between the 2 of them. And they each came with their own challenges and their own kind of learning paths. And something that I learned very early with Tyler, sorry, Bianca, but I learned it from Tyler, was to give as much openness as possible to Tyler in terms of transparency. So he really appreciated that I was very honest with him and I gave him my blunt opinion, but I also gave him other people's opinions. So I gave him other places to look for information for reassurance as well. But beyond that, it was always having an open ear for him and always being there when he needed me. And I'm not trying to say that being a mentor means that you need to be there all the time, because I definitely had my boundaries. I mean, if he would text me at midnight, I wouldn't reply to him until I was waking up. And sometimes that wasn't until, say, like, I don't know, 1 p.m. that I'd get back to him. Normally, I have a 15-minute rule, but anyways, my mentees understand my capabilities and I'm very upfront with it. But it was just always being, ready to give what they needed, So yeah. Anyways, I hope that wasn't too cryptic. I hope that was easy to understand. So what have I given to you that's really helped you?
Well, it's a huge list because you are a great mentor just to start off. And I still remember like the first meeting, you asked me about what classes I was taking and then telling me if like if I had good professors or not. And if by chance I didn't have good professors, You'll tell me like the resources to look at to help me like succeed. As well, you're also telling me if this course it was hard or easy. And yeah, it was very helpful. And then in terms of co-op, you helped me with some LinkedIn advice, like the importance of LinkedIn. Gave me like a template for the cover letter, and also read over it. Thank you so much. And also my resume, which was a lot of editing, which I'm very grateful. And I do say part of the reason why I got internship, but I would say it was because of you. So thank you. And as well, I would say like throughout the semester, I'm like an anxious and stressful person in general, and I feel like our once a week meeting would help me like vent or like de-stress and not think about school. And you gave me like great advice and um like de-stressing, for example, like do a hobby instead of just focusing on school, or like go to the gym, exercise. And yeah, and I'm still doing all your advice you told me, and I'm grateful for it.
Okay, but you can't give me all the credit because all I was doing was I was giving you the reassurance that you needed. You're the one who started going to the gym and eating healthy, and I was just telling you, you know what? There's a lot of studies that say that that's great for you. I think you should keep going. And I was keeping track of you. So like every week I'd be like, well, are you still, is this still your technique? Are you still following up on this? Or have you changed to like maybe, I don't know, reading books or a favorite TV show? It was just kind of helping you help yourself
Yeah.
because you always knew where you wanted to be. It was just kind of me giving the reassurance that like you're on the right path.
That's true. But I do say like you really did help me, just letting you know. Ah, sorry for looping sappy.
Yeah, sorry, you guys in the chat, like we are very, very emotional, like just crying, like.
We haven't yet, so we're good. How is being a mentor beneficial for you?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? Okay, so I'm a special case because I have had 6 mentees, but they weren't all created equal in the sense that I didn't learn as much from some as I did from others. And I mean, I learned a lot of soft skills in terms of how to listen to people and how to become a great salesman. And it sounds weird, but like you're learning what people need and you're learning how to give people exactly what they're looking for. So you're solving this discrepancy, right? And I mean, beyond that, I mean, I learned so many hard skills. I'm talking to somebody who's within my domain, but has different specialties, right? Because Bianca has her background in engineering and has this very beautifully technical mind. And whereas I have my first mentee, Tyler, who has a completely different outlook on marketing and has completely different goals. So I'm learning a full picture of my degree by interacting with these people. And it's an environment that's there's no competition. I'm not competing with her. I'm actively helping her and I'm gaining from helping her. So I mean, I've gained so much and I feel good about doing it. So yeah. So why do you think it's important to have a mentor, and will you seek other mentors?
I think it's important to have like a mentor because it's someone like introducing you to your professional world that you want to be in. And they've been through, like I said before, the same experience, and they will give you advice. And I feel like mentors are just like a supporter and will reassure you when you're doubting yourself. Like I feel in general, human beings are more negative and like downplay our actual capabilities. And then but an outside perspective, they'll be like, wait, what are you talking about? You're like an amazing person because X, Y, and Z, you know? And and it's a good feeling to have someone beside you, and they'll like tell you like, don't worry. For example, I was scared of going to fail this class, and Rose was telling me, don't worry, this is a hard class, and no, you still have a chance of like boosting your grade, just do well on the final, don't give up. And turns out I passed, and everything worked out well. And yeah, and also not only you'll have like a guy, you will also gain a friend in your program. And as a new student, you don't know, most people don't know anyone in their program, and so that's why it's stressful to have like group projects in the beginning, because you don't know anyone. And so it's, yeah, you also get a friend. It's nice. And what
It's
about you? Like, what do
it's
you think it's important? Oh, forgot to answer the other part. Oh, yes, I'm gonna seek for another mentor at some point, but I am seeking for someone that I'm comfortable with, like I am with Rose. And as well, like of course being knowledgeable, but I think for me it's important to be yeah, comfortable, and maybe like have a connection, if you could say. And what about you, Rose? Like, do you think it's important?
I think it's important to have a mentor. Actually, I'd like to circle back to what you said about failing a class, because I think I remember.
Yes. It was my first
I
semester.
yeah, but I have to say I really didn't treat the situation with you the same way that I treated it with Julie. Because,
Really?
okay, so Julie is the other mentee that I had at the same time as Bianca. And I believe that Julie was doing this class that Bianca had struggled with the semester before, or vice versa. But regardless, the way that I told you that you could do it was just telling you that you could do it, because your biggest barrier in your mind is yourself, like point blank. But with Julie, sorry, there's a fly in my house. That's why I was doing this. With Julie, it's that she was working multiple jobs at the time because she needed an income. And Julie legitimately did not understand the content. So my resources to her were also to tell her, if you fail this class, it's not the end of the world. And that's something that a lot of people, especially in co-op, do not understand, is that failing a course is not the end of the world. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you that you have to like go out and fail Com 308 or whatever, any of the engineering classes, for example, because those are all difficult. But what I'm saying is that if you are a good student, generally speaking, co-op is understanding, and your professors are understanding. And as long as you have a valid reason, there's, there's no stress. My other mentee, though, what I was telling her was if she failed the class, how she would have to schedule her classes in the future, and that she should start registering for those classes as a contingency option immediately. So I was telling her, even at the beginning of the semester, if you think that this course is difficult, straight out the gate, sign up for it next semester, just so that you have it in case, and so that you're able to take it as quickly as possible, so that you do not delay your graduation. And she ended up failing a course a few semesters ago. And we had to go through the entire contingency plan, and we were able to do it without having a lot of stress, and we didn't delay her graduation at all. So it's about knowing also like the course schedule, I guess, but we were able to do the research together and get it done. But yeah, all that to say, you're your own biggest strength.
Thank you. But it's nice, like from your explanation, like I can see that you really do listen to your mentees, and everyone, like you said, not everyone has different situations, and so there's not like one specific, like in one situation you say this, you do consider every factors in your mentee's life, and I think that's very like really good critical thinking. And yeah, I just want to say that a nice comment.
Thank you for all of the nice comments. I'm very like Yeah. So you asked me a question. So what do I think is important
Mm-hmm. To have a mentor.
about about having a mentor?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that goes into your next question as well. So I have had 6 mentees, and I have also continued the program, and I have a mentor, an industry mentor, who I happened to be in the exact same industry as. So we were working within the same industry. So it was very fortunate because she was able to give me industry knowledge that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So we're both in trucking, which is very like unglamorous, especially that we're both women in trucking. But yeah, she has given me nothing but great advice and support. And it's funny, I actually signed an offer to be working at her company. Officially, I think it was Tuesday. So like, Tuesday. And she sent me a text right after, and I almost started crying because she told me, she was like, even though I'm hiring you as my subordinate, I will always be here as your mentor. And I do not want you to think that that relationship has changed. And that was really good to hear because, her name is Christy. She's been nothing but helpful and supportive. Now, a lot of the time she won't give me the solution straight out. She'll give me multiple options of different directions that I can go in. And she'll support me in whatever decision I make and give me the tools that I need along the way, or remind me of the tools that I have stubbornly put away in my backpack and refuse to take out. But yeah, I mean, when Bianca and I were brainstorming about this chat, Bianca brought up a term of a chain link that was being formed. Because I have become such a better mentor, and I have so many better tools to offer to my mentees since I have gotten my mentor. I feel like it's exponential learning that I can offer to Bianca that I'm getting out of industry that I wish I knew when I was in university. It's more than just, well, this is how I did it, and here are the tools that I was able to manage with. It's, here are the tools that I managed with. Here are the tools that my mentor managed with. So there's so much growth. And if Bianca decides to have her own mentee one day, speaking like a child, like I call my mentees my little chiclets, very endearingly, which is, not endearing at all. It's just weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's a great chain of knowledge.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm thinking maybe in fall to become a mentor as well to continue this chain. And that's amazing though. Like it's so like that's how like a mentorship program or like having a mentor like could give someone like so much and inspire someone and then just transfer all the knowledge to someone else. Like it's nice.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that your mentor is going to get you a job, because I mean, I am setting a pretty bad precedence here, considering that I kind of grandfathered Bianca this position and my mentor gave me my position. But it's not always like that, because I am one of multiple of my mentor's mentees, and Bianca is one of my many mentees. Just one of my favorites.
Thank you. And you're my fairy mentor so far.
So far. So you're telling me that there is an option for this to change?
No, but you're very up there. It'll be hard to beat you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
So do you I mean you already spoken about a little like do you have like your overall experience or like overall message about your 6 mentee you had before? If you
For
want to
you.
discuss.
The time before you. Oh, what a dark time. No, I'm kidding. Well, maybe not. Sure. I remember getting the email from Leslie. about becoming a mentor. And I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, this is such a great opportunity. And then I started and I was matched with Tyler. And at no point do I ever want to say something negative about Tyler. Everything I say is positive. But he was very demanding. He was very taxing on me. And I remember in our mentorship follow-ups with Leslie telling me, you know, wow, you got a real number, or something along those lines, mentioning that Tyler was like a two-in-one package, because Tyler didn't leave anything up to chance. He wanted to be sure that everything was perfect and wanted to know everything. So, I mean, that was probably one of the biggest learning experiences that I had at the beginning, and it prepared me to really have a short list in my mind at all times of the scariest thing that a co-op student goes through, you know, because I would get calls about it. So I was really put through the ringer at first, but Tyler benefited so much from it, and so did I. I mean, Tyler's first internship was a graduate level internship, which isn't something that a co-op student, like,
wow,
an undergrad shouldn't be able to do, but nobody else applied to it. You know, so that's a great tip. Apply to all the internships, even if they're graduate level. There's always a chance that you'll get it.
Good to know. Good to know. Look, I'm still learning from you.
Pretty sure I told you this on like the first. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, because you were on your first internship term when we got matched. I wasn't there to help you apply to internships. That's right.
Yeah, I already got my internship, but we got matched, I think in November, I think. Vaguely. I think it was November. But you still helped me though. You still helped me.
It doesn't matter. You got one of the most difficult like internships to get, which is Walter Surfaces. FYI, guys, I applied to Walter Surfaces each and every term that I was supposed to be on an internship, and I never got Walter Surfaces. Even after having an internship at Ubisoft, Walter Surfaces did not want me, which was...
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how it happened to me then.
You didn't need my help for it, really. You had it in the bag.
Well, it's all thanks to you. I'm still saying that it's all thanks to you. You should know that. I'm very grateful that I had you. And
actually, we have to change it. We have to change it. It's all thanks to Leslie, because Leslie pioneered the program.
Yes, Leslie. Giving credit to Leslie because she matched us.
I'll turn this around. Come on.
Aww. Thank you, ladies. But I have to say, and to the mentors that are here today, I believe like Peter for sure is a mentor. I'm not sure about Rami. It is like you have to be in a full learning mode, and you have to be invested to be a mentor. And your mentee has to be invested. So it's really important to get each other comfortable with one another and develop that kind of friendship, as these two ladies have, as you can see today. And yes, you're right about Tyler. And I remember talking to you about this. And I was actually very surprised that Rose was still fully engaged, okay? Because she had a demanding mentee, okay? And there was a lot of questions. But she can turn around now and say that, like, they have a level of respect, like Tyler respected her and he was happy he had her as a mentor. And like you said, you learned a lot from him.
Yeah, he was definitely, I have to say, he was definitely the most valuable person to have as my first mentorship experience, because he was so engaged. So it showed such a benefit. And I've heard horror stories from other mentors of having mentees that do not want to engage. And you think about mentorship and you're like, oh, the least time investment, the better. But
No.
I was really excited to be going into these meetings with Bianca. I mean, towards the end, sometimes I'd forget. I'm sorry, Bianca. Like both of our schedules were just very hectic. But I remember like prepping myself, reading through my notes and being like, oh, that's right. We got to talk about that. And practicing that. It was exciting and I was learning a lot. And you also were challenging me with questions that I had never even faced. You were challenging interpersonal issues. And even at work, you were facing some issues in the workplace. And I had to do research. And I was coming to you with articles that I'd send you sometimes just
Yes.
randomly. I think that I've been better recently. I don't think I've sent a mass email to you guys in like a few months, but I used to send mass emails to my mentees of just like random things that they should read as marketers, which I still feel kind of bad about that. But
I don't think you should. I think that is an excellent example of mentors just stepping it up and thinking outside of the box. And you are making a really great effort because you are taking their personalities, okay, into your mind and seeing different articles that you think can help them grow or succeed more. So actually, as a mentor doing that, I think it's a fantastic idea. Maybe for the mentees, they were a little overwhelmed, who knows? But if they had the chance to read some of these articles, they would have definitely learned a bit about it. So I think you did a great job in that respect.
She really did a step further. Not saying all mentors should do that, but for me, it was well appreciated for like her effort that put into me, and yeah, it was really nice.
But I always say every semester to our mentors and our mentees, I tell them, I say that you are going to get as much as you put in to this program. If you don't put in anything, you're not going to get anything. And especially I say that to the mentees. You must have, this is something for you. I don't know if you quite touched it yet, Bianca.
Mhm.
Now, I think fully the successful relationship and two people learning from one another has a lot to do with the mentee being prepared for the meetings, okay, and also mixing either virtual or in-person meetings together. Now, the success factor is also determined by the mentee being engaged, okay? And that's what some mentees don't realize is that maybe they may not have all the topics, but that's why sometimes, Rose, you had to think of other things to think about because, mentees don't have all the answers. So do you agree with me to say that to be an engaged mentee and to come prepared to your meetings with Rose helped you grow and succeed and learn?
Yes, I think like 100%. Yes, because it's because I was leading the conversation, and whatever question I had, Rose would answer or like ask for more details about it and give me options about of like what I can do. And like yes, sometimes I didn't have like any question in terms of co-op because I already had my internship, but there there's like there's a lot to talk about if you just talk about your day and she asks you like how did it make you feel or like how's your team project, and then boy you could talk a lot about your team project because there's always some issues with certain members, and then it's there's always like a conversation, um a topic. You could always find a topic of conversation of just saying talking about your day in general. And so I think that's an advice for a mentor if they have trouble um like getting engagement from their mentee. Just ask about their day and ask like how, like, general question, how's your professors, and then there's you just have to find that one topic that would ignite something like and like an emotion, like, oh yeah, that makes me stressful, or like this class is really stressful for me right now. And then say, oh well, do you want to hear more about like study tips and things like that? there's a lot to do. You could do.
So I'd actually like to re-say that a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Bianca and I have a very unique mentorship experience because when Bianca started expressing that she was having conflicts at work in terms of like there were issues at work and she was feeling stressed and she wasn't feeling well at work. She wasn't telling me directly. So we had to develop a different kind of mentorship experience in the fact that in our meetings, it would be an hour-long meeting, and Bianca would come in and she would tell me about her week. And it took a very long time. I think I think it took us at least 2 months before we started doing it that way, where you weren't coming to me with questions, where we were just talking. And Bianca would talk during the session, and I would identify points where I could give knowledge and where I could give feedback.
Yes.
And there weren't always times that I knew the answers. And then I'd do my research and I'd be like, oh, this is the problem that Bianca was talking about. Here, I'll send her the article. But I'm going to tell you that that's not the typical way that it goes.
Okay.
I mean, at least from my understanding, the way that it has gone in almost every other situation except for you and Julie, I can't think right now. So Julie and Bianca were my two last mentees, both having high avoidance tendencies. So avoidance to conflict. I have high avoidance to conflict as well, but you were very scared to ask questions about the situation without first being reassured about it. And that's something that I had to learn to guide you through that process. Whereas somebody like Tyler, right? He did not care. He went in, he asked his boss what was up. He was like, let's go, let's get this squared away. Versus us, we had to have that dialogue. And it's that you trusted me to come to me and talk to me about this. And not every mentorship experience, you're going to have a mentee who's open enough to discuss everything that's going on. So whereas Tyler always came prepared, that's how he really benefited. He came prepared with a list of action items of exactly what he wanted to talk about. And boy, was there a list. He was always prepared with a Word document.
Wow.
And then my mentees that I had in the summer, their names were, I think, Mackenzie and Sam. I don't really remember. It was a while ago. I don't speak to either of them anymore, but they came to me with action items. And when they didn't have any action items anymore, that's kind of when the mentorship experience stopped. Which happened to fall naturally with the mentorship program, but sometimes we would skip weeks. Versus with you, we were always learning from each other. And so in a way, Bianca was coming prepared because she was prepared to discuss with me the difficulties that she was having that were specific to where my knowledge was. But she wasn't coming to me with a full action list the way that Tyler did. Bianca sometimes didn't know the issues that she was having, but sometimes I would know the solution. And sometimes she would have a problem and I wouldn't know the solution. So, I mean, it just worked out, but I don't think that it's the norm. And I'm just saying that because of, maybe Peter can speak to this as well, but in our meetings, the mentorship meetings, I found that it's mostly structured around Q&A. So the mentee comes in with questions, the mentor gives answers. Or then you have completely different mentorship experiences like me and my mentor. And we go in and my mentor just tells me everything that I need to do, which is fantastic for me because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I just write lists. I'm like, okay, Christy, you know exactly what I need to do. And she sets me on the right path and I am like a plane. Just follow Christy's knowledge. So it depends on all the relationships is how I would answer Leslie.
If I could say something about matching Rose with her new mentor, I knew her mentor, And I think
Oh.
she was really fantastic. I remember her as a mentor in the program that you guys are participating in right now at Co-op. And she became an industry mentor. And I had gotten to know Rose because she was my assistant, and I told her I could hook her up with a mentor. And there were a few that I was thinking of, but I wanted to give her the very best because she had worked so hard for free. And I gave her the options. So I told Rose about the profiles. So I explained each of the mentors' profiles. So she settled on Christy. And I thought it was going to be a good match. Okay. But in the beginning, okay, they got off to a rocky start, and Rose like kind of was not sure. Like she was feeling it out, but she had her reservations. So to hear that she kept on with an open mind, and to hear what has been accomplished to this date is blowing my mind right now. And the respect and excitement that Rose talks about Christy as her mentor. And what I love, another key point that I'm taking from this, so that I hope that Rami and Peter, that you may find yourselves throughout your career in positions of being a mentor and a mentee, or both at the same time. What I love is that she mentioned that being around Christy and having multiple co-op mentees has all around made her a better mentor. And I think that is truly fantastic. And sometimes, like in traditional mentoring, very often the Christie style is very similar to what a traditional mentor will do. Or a mentor always tries to make sure that their mentee is doing the work. It's the mentee, so they're reflecting with the mentee. They're asking the mentee, well, have you thought of this, or have you thought of that? What if you were to try something like that? Why don't you try something like that and get back to me? So there's a bit of that as well. So Rose, I'm beyond thrilled that this is still an ongoing relationship, and the mutual respect that you guys have for each other is there, and I love it. So thank you. Thank you for sharing this.
Yay.
Just the little hands.
So we have no more questions, so we could move on to the Q&A. If anyone has any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Peter had his mic off for a second. Ooh, Nick has a question.
Awesome.
Hi, now I transitioned to my car. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, first of all, thanks so much for the insightful discussion, and it's pretty cool because I too went through the roles of mentee and then mentor, and it's always awesome to see different perspectives and different experiences. So, thanks for sharing. My question is, I think Rose, you said you had an industry mentor as well. And the question is, I guess, twofold. One, how do you approach someone and ask them to become their mentor outside of the co-op program, so in your professional environment? And two, how would you describe that person? Is it someone of the same age, someone at the same level, one higher up? How would you describe that person?
So Leslie actually matched me with Christy through the mentorship program. It is a oh my goodness, a mentorship pillar. But in terms of approaching a mentor in your professional life, I wouldn't say that I have had mentors with framework outside of Christy, but I've definitely had mentorship discussions with guidance. And I mean, might be difficult to tell, considering that all I've gotten is praise tonight. But I'm quite a humble person, so I'm somebody who's very transparent about not knowing things. So just approaching people and asking them, "Wow, how did you do that? How did you get to where you are?" I mean, it goes without saying that people like to be, praised, but also somebody who wants to help and who notices that you are looking authentically for advice is going to give you that advice. And also the right workplace, choosing the right workplace. Your boss can become your mentor. Coworkers can mentor you. I mean, my mentor, for example, is the marketing VP for a international company. And I partly why I chose her is because of how high up she is, because I was like, wow, she's that high up. She must, she must know something. She must know a trick, but also don't be afraid of hierarchies. And that's something that I've learned quite recently, is that people at the top normally just want a little bit of clarity of what's going on the bottom. And they're not usually really people who look down on you. They're just like you and me. They just have gotten there from their intelligence or from their performance. A lot of them also want to give back. So I mean, I haven't had a lot of people who have shown stigma to giving me unsolicited advice.
Rose, sorry, my television just went back on. Rose, and Nick, I just want to let you know that yes, I can definitely hook you up with another mentor. There are some amazing accountancy graduates that have participated in other years of this program. The reason I haven't had it for so many years recently is because I didn't have the time to do it. And after 2 years of revising this program, the undergrad mentorship program, my current manager decided to take a look at it and do her own revisions of it. So I went through 3 years of changes in this mentorship program, much to my sadness. So C2I was just left on the back burner. But this year, in the next 3 weeks, I am going to be recruiting again, and you are exactly at the right period. You're a senior student and you're eligible for this program. So it's an 8-month program. It has a lot less requirements from me. I don't manage it as much because you're both professionals at that point. And this program really truly is to complete the loop of co-op. So to have conversations as a soon-to-be recent grad about how to negotiate your benefits package, how to negotiate your salary. How do you do it all or like for Rose, for example, with Christy, how do you do it as a woman in a male dominated industry? Like especially if they've been faced with certain challenges. Christy's also a great example. She's completed her MBA as well. So, that's not something that Rose hasn't thought of already. She has, but she can get a lot of advice from her. So I can find you somebody similar. And I've also offered Bianca this situation as well. So I've put her name down just in case when I run my query, her name is not caught on, because I have to do certain queries in Compass, and Compass is a real pain in my what. I don't know if you guys love Compass, but I don't. So anyways, I'll write your name down too, Nick, just to make sure that you get the application link.
I'd just like to say really quickly, just for feedback to Leslie, I found that I benefited most from my my mentorship program for the fact that I was looking for jobs when Christy and I first started meeting. Because she helped me through that process. Maybe a month prior would have also been helpful, but I kind of appreciate that I didn't have an entire semester beforehand. Because it would have been irrelevant. Well, I find anyways. I found that the time that we were matched was like perfect for me anyways. And much more than how to negotiate your pay or how to negotiate benefits package. Way beyond that, because I'll be honest with you, it's very difficult to negotiate a salary higher than your worth. But I found that Christy knew how to increase my worth and knew what to tell
Ah.
me to study in order to increase my worth so that I would be higher valued at companies. And she also told me the standards. Like, she was telling me the bare minimum. She was like, Rose, you do not have to wait for that 3-month probationary period. You negotiate your way out of it. Nobody should be without health care for the first 3 months.
True.
And it is negotiable at any company. And any company that tells you otherwise, you shouldn't bother. And that was something that I found very funny. And I negotiated it in my first job. So, I mean, and Christy didn't make me negotiate for it. She was like, we offer pay healthcare day one, you know?
Oh, congratulations for getting a job at her company. I have to say, she has obviously seen something and a lot of potential in you. I don't think she does this with every person that she mentors. So kudos to you. I hate that word, but kudos to you. I'm proud of you. You're a go-getter. Continue to grow like that. It's fantastic news. Like you didn't tell me exactly that, like in the message you sent me there, but when I heard this, it was like super exciting for me to hear.
Yeah, so actually the role that I got put into with Christy, okay, so I'll give you some background. I took this job at a transport company, and Christy had told me not to. I was between 2 different jobs, and Christy told me, don't go into the transport company. She was like, I'm in transport. You don't want to be in transport. Your manager doesn't sound like he's a good fit. Whatever. She was right. She was absolutely right. But what she was wrong about was how quickly I outgrew that position, how quickly I learned, and how valuable I became to her. So when I told her, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm being emotionally impacted. I cannot perform my work duties anymore. I'm looking elsewhere. I have applied to other jobs. She was like, okay, we have a role that's going to be perfect for you, you know, and she did everything in her power to get me.
Oh, power of
because
networking. Power of
yeah,
networking.
well, it's that I was within the same industry as her, which is completely unintentional. It wasn't the reason I took the role. I took the role because part of the role was traveling internationally, and I was like, yes. Except I ended up in Winnipeg most of the time. And yeah. Also Ohio, which by the way does exist if you have seen the memes. Not that great. So yeah.
That's great. That's really great. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the chat. Yes, you did see Peter's like microphone go on and off, but sadly he had to leave. But he did write, thank you for holding this meeting, but I have to leave now. I would like to have similar meetings like this in the future. So you guys did a great job. That was really great feedback. So I'm happy that he left this meeting feeling optimistic or excited or a little charged. I would like to put you in the driver's seat right now and bring you into the spotlight, Rami. Nick is leaving. His battery is dying, so no problem. Thank you very much for participating and being there and showing support and being part of the P2P committee. But my question is, like, for Rami, do you have any feedback? Do you have any questions for either of the women that spoke tonight? Anything you can think of? He might type it in the chat because he's in the library.
Take your time.
No pressure. If he's still listening.
Oh, by the way, I went on like a complete tangent just to finish what I was saying because I like completely forgot. By the way, I've had like a total of like, Rami speaking.
Rami,
go.
Yeah.
Go. It's your time.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the lady that was saying was like, what can I say? Comments everything today and they explained very well the situation. So learn some comments.
I'm sorry, Rami, you were coming in a little choppy, so we didn't have a chance to really get the full meaning of what you were saying to us. Do you mind like typing it out quickly? Would that be okay? Thank you.
By the way, I can't read the chat.
Okay, so I'll read the comment or the question to you guys.
Oh,
Rose, you would love Rancy. Rancy, you would love Rose.
Well, yeah, Nick had a question, but I was about to say that it was wonderful to hear both you, Rose, and Bianca. I have myself, I mean, Leslie is aware, and I think Bianca remembers, but I've worked for many years myself back in India. I'm from India. And I, I really liked your answer about, how you approach somebody to be a mentor. Because I am a person who I don't know. I'm definitely not an extrovert, but yeah, maybe I'm ambivert. Maybe I don't know. But when it comes to finding a mentor, I don't hesitate in asking somebody and letting them know that what inspires me to reach out to them and to ask help. And I think that's very critical uh, for for a mentee to do that, to be upfront, irrespective of how they are,
Yeah.
personally. And for mentee also, like, it's very important to do the background work. As a mentor, I've had some not so good experience as well, and some very awesome experience as well. So I'm also looking forward. I might approach Leslie to, get a mentor, now that I'm here in my domain, to see, and if I get a mentor like you, Rose, I think I'd be very lucky. So yeah.
Oh, you know
Oh.
what, Rancy?
Yeah,
Drop me an email, and
sure.
also if ever you're in the area, I tend to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday out of the office, but double check if I'm going to the office first. But I could try get you a mentor, but it might end up being at the undergrad level, okay, in co-op,
Okay.
and I could also try get you to make sure I have your email to get you on the alumni mentorship program, the C2Y program that Rose is taking advantage of right now.
Okay, that would be awesome, Leslie. Thank you so much.
My
But
pleasure.
ladies, it was really wonderful. I think I'm really happy I joined it because honestly, it was Nick who posted. I was like, okay, Nick's posted. Then I recalled there's a coffee chat. So I'm really happy that I joined chat.
oh, thank you.
Rancy, what is your major? You're a master's student?
Yes, I'm a master's student in applied computer science.
Okay. What specifically within applied computer science? Because I might know somebody.
Okay. So, well, not. I mean, I'm just taking courses that are core right now, like algorithms and I'm interested mostly in, obviously, machine learning. So I'm planning to take those in my next semester. Right now, I'm just focusing on the core one. So yeah.
Okay, because I know a few people. I mean, these wouldn't be co-op people, obviously, but
That's okay.
well, I mean, I knew somebody. Well, I know a few people within 3D video game programming,
Oh, okay.
and yeah. So that's why when you said programming, I was like, okay, so maybe, but machine learning is completely different. It's a lot more math based. So
Yeah, it is. And I was just doing, and that's why I took an algorithms class in my second term itself. because I just wanted to, get into maths, and I'm studying after many years. So I was like, oh, well, this is the right time to take up maths so that I'm prepared for the next terms.
Yeah.
But
Kudos to
all that
you.
too,
Thank
like
you.
actually, Rose, thank you very much for trying to make a connection. Rancy, you're the only one here, but I will say to you that you can never have enough mentors in your life. So it's perfectly fine to have like multiple mentors. And the important part is that you make the decision of all the pieces of advice that you get from your mentors. It's you that makes the decision of whether you will take a certain person or all their advice in, okay? Because it's your journey and it's your life.
Right.
So you can never have too many mentors. They will all help,
I agree.
or you'll make different connections with each mentor. So you may be working on a certain facet of yourself with one of your mentors, and there'll be something different that you connect with another mentor. So you just never know. It's kind of like what Rose was saying, after mentoring 6 mentees, like she had very different connections with all her mentees. Like as for putting in effort and doing what they're required, like Bianca and Tyler were the ones that did what they were active in their relationship with Rose. And then she had 2 students that were just like, well, I just have specific questions. I just need specific answers. They weren't taking advantage of everything that Rose had to share with them. So, you'll, like I said, you will get something out of anybody that mentors you.
Surely, I agree. Thanks, Tisli. And it's
Yeah,
not just like
and
I feel professionally, I think at every level you learn something from your mentors. So yeah.
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 I'm going to stop the recording now.